But we want to begin with the damage left behind from last night's riot in town Minneapolis. We know that dozens of people have been arrested for rioting and for burglary, and police say this all started after a crowd mistook a suicide for a police shooting. This happened right in front of the downtown Target, just a couple of blocks away from where we are right now. That's where police say they were approaching a murder suspect when he turned the gun on himself. Minneapolis police were very quick to try to release video of what happened. The city as well, in an attempt to dispel rumors, but it did not work. People we talked with on the street had their doubts, and that led to rioting and to looting. A major issue in Minneapolis. We are live right now in front of Britt's Pub, and this has sort of been the center of activity this morning. You can see this business right next door, which is kind of an ATV adventure, a rental place. They're cleaning up, boarding up the windows. Lots going on here at Britt's Pub, where you see still some broken windows right up there. The owner of Britt's Pub telling me just within the last 15 minutes that the damage that we see, and I can show you some of the video from last night, the fire that happened here in Britt's, he said that was really just part of it. People came inside Britt's and ransacked the entire restaurant. They went down into the office, destroying things, walking out with the point-of-sale computer equipment, going through the kitchen, breaking windows in the interior of the restaurant. That fire, of course, as fires do, led to a lot of water damage as firefighters worked to put that thing out, and a sprinkler system inside. Later in mid-morning, I'll take you inside Britt's and give you a little look at the damage from inside. But we want to continue our team coverage right now live along Nicollet Mall with Christian Cordero. Christian?
Because we're going to head out now to Aaron Hazanzadeh in just a minute. Governor Walz activated the Minnesota National Guard to help stop the unrest last night. Aaron is just south of downtown Minneapolis, right on Franklin, where there also was some damage. Aaron? And we are outside of the downtown area, Franklin and Nicollet, just to show you it's not exclusive to that downtown core. We're at the Franklin Nicollet liquor store here, which was, as you can see, targeted last night. They're cleaning up inside. Sam can show you. They're sweeping up. Just talked to the owner. He says $500,000 in damage this time around, and it's not the first time he's had to do this in the last couple of months. If we turn around here as well, the CVS across the way here was also targeted last night. Their front door is boarded up, and I spoke with some people who live above the CVS in those condos. They tell me it was sort of an uneasy night. They saw people coming in and out, a couple hours of commotion. They saw people carrying chainsaws, so an uneasy night for people in this area. Now to the official response that we heard from Governor Tim Walz last night at the state capitol. He says this is an emotional time after what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and of course here with George Floyd.
And I just want to be very clear. The pain that people are feeling is real. The situation that was sparked again and reminds all of us of that, watching that 8.5 minutes of George Floyd's death. Those are real. Those are real emotions that are out there. But to come together and fix those issues, they're not going to be fixed with violence or looting Target.
And the governor declared a peacetime emergency, mobilizing the National Guard, including a military police unit. The Minnesota State Patrol is in Minneapolis to help as well. They had around 150 troops brought in to help Minneapolis police with crowd dispersal and looting control. The mayor, Jacob Fry, declared a state of emergency as well.
What our city needs right now is healing. We do not need more destruction. We do not need property damage. That is unacceptable in every way, shape, and form, and I want to be very clear, it will not be tolerated.
Yeah, and so the curfew expired at 6 o'clock this morning. We know, Jason, the mayor has the option to extend the curfew to call it into order again tonight at 10. After 72 hours, City Council will decide whether or not it's necessary anymore. But we're talking about businesses that have been hit multiple times in a matter of months. This owner says $750,000 worth of damage in the last few months alone. So you do the math. How does that add up for business? How do you stay open in this environment? And he's cleaning up today knowing, Heather, that he's operating at a deficit at this point.
A lot of questions that don't have answers right now. Aaron Hazan's live for us along Franklin Avenue. Thank you, Aaron. We're going to head back out to Jason along Nicollet Mall.
Yeah, Heather, we want to give some context, right, as to what's going on in the world and in our community right now. Of course, what has been going on in Kenosha has been a front of mind for many of us here. Authorities have identified the police officer who shot a black man in Kenosha, Wisconsin. State Attorney General says Rustin Sheshki, a 7-year veteran of the Kenosha Police Department, was the only officer who shot Blake. Investigators say they did find a knife on the driver's side floorboard, and Blake had told officers he did have a knife, but they have not said anything as to what else went on there and why Officer Sheshki did what he did. That incident sparked nights of unrest in Kenosha, and the shooting, of course, that then related to the protests left 2 dead and 1 injured. Police did make an arrest of 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse from Antioch, Illinois, which is about 15 minutes south of Kenosha near the Wisconsin-Illinois border. The police chief called the violence that happened during the protest, called it senseless violence, and he couldn't say what led to that shooting.